Hello, hello, and welcome to class. Today's an interesting practice because, along with stretching and finding an interesting place for flexibility and releasing the muscles, hopefully, this practice also helps you release any bit of pain, stress, tension that you've been feeling in your lower back and in your hips. Back pain and hip pain seem to be chronic in our modern lifestyle. We sit too damn much and we hunch over too much. So today's class helps you move the spine in interesting ways. Again, if you have chronic pain that is too much, please consult with your physician before going ahead with this. But if it's not too bad and if everything's okay, go for it. You know best. Your body is the teacher. So listen to your body before you listen to me on this one specifically. But if you're here just for a good stretch, if you're here just to find new territory, fantastic. Let's play. Let's open up. Let's breathe. Um, I got a bolster at hand, just in case you need it or you don't. I'm going to show you some tiny variations with it. It's not required, but if you have a pillow, a blanket, a bolster, all of that works. It's wonderful. So to begin with, start with the 1990. So I'm going to start with a 1990. I'm going to turn over to the side of my mat just to show you a bit better. But when you set the 1990 up, I would recommend take your left hip forward to the front of the mat and your right foot behind. So yeah, so just to double check, your left hip is facing the front of the mat. So when you twist over your left hip, your chest is going forward, and your right foot, I'm turning, you don't have to. Your right foot is in parallel to your left shin. We're just taking a second to set this up because, setting up the 1990 is paramount to the practice. And we're going to spend a lot of time in it. And that is one of the things that we are going to work in and find a bit of space. So notice how that feels. Once you find the 1990, if you're confused, pause, go back, check it out, and just see how you feel once you get into it. Now the idea is you want to roll your right chest over and close. Roll it over and close. And now try and get the movement coming from your hip. So my right hip is trying to close, and then my right hip opens up. Right hip closes and opens. Your hands can be anywhere, and we're going to visit these stretches 3 times. So every stretch, every side, we're going to visit it 3 times. So notice how it feels within your being when you visit the stretch second time and third time. So even if you have a lot of space in your twist, you have a lot of space while going forward, I would recommend take your time. Don't be in a rush. Don't be in a rush to get anywhere because you're going to come here many times over. So, and throughout the practice, I'm going to be moving a little left and right, adjusting my position so you can see me better. But you don't have to move, all right? You don't have to be a monkey and jump around. I'll be the monkey for you so you can see it from different angles. Right now, just feel that space in the lower back as you twist. Maybe your twists start getting a little better. Maybe you become a little more articulate with the spine so you can make circles. The twist turns into an animalistic exploration. I always like to take my time with the first round of the stretch, kind of giving the body a bit of space to move into, giving the body something to lean into. These practices build a lot of trust in your nervous system. So notice how that feels as you gently start trusting your body to move into these new spaces. Okay. So once you get there, slowly turn back. And here the bolster comes in handy. You might not need it, but I'm just going to show you a variation. So you can take the bolster behind you and Keeping the legs as they are in a 1990, or if the 1990 is too much, just slide the right foot in a bit so you have a bit of a deer pose and start to lean back onto your bolster or onto the ground. So I'll show you first with the bolster and then I'll show you with the ground. So the idea is pretty much similar. The only difference is now we are kind of opening up. So I'm pressing my right knee into the ground as my right hip turns open. So I haven't moved the feet at all. I've just shifted. So I was leaning forward over my left hip, and now the legs stay as they are, and my left elbow comes down. Maybe my right elbow comes down as well. Or if you don't need the bolster, scooch that away and just come onto your hands as well. And notice if you press the right knee into the ground, you pull the left toes up, the right toes, does that give you a little more space to stretch into? Does that give you a little more space? Just testing, exploring, moving around. Even if you can go flat onto the ground, I would recommend don't do that right now. A lot of people can just go, rest the back all the way down, but there's no need to go there so quickly. Use the hands, move around, make circles, and let that go. Come back up. Notice how that feels, right hip, left hip. You might notice something new with the left, something new with the right. It's all part of the stretch, and now just switch sides. So I'm going to make a small change to how I'm sitting, but it's the same thing for you. Um, right hip faces the front of the mat. Left femur goes back, your left quad goes a little back. So you see the 90-90 shape again. So my leg is in this 90-degree angle, and then my left leg is in a 90-degree angle. Okay, so now you're going to turn over the right hip. And here I'm going to ask you to kind of wake the toes up a bit because you're familiar with the left side. So now we start adding a bit of activation. You activate the left toes a bit. What I mean is you pull the toes up, the right toes and left toes. Notice if this gives you more space to explore. And maybe you want to open the left hip, close the left hip, open and close. What I mean is the left hip turns out and then it turns in and then it turns out and then it turns in. And once you do that a few times, maybe you instinctively start to be a little gecko-like. That's the best way I can explain this movement. It's a very intuitive, it's very animalistic. There's almost no strength into it. You're just rolling the spine. And I like to imagine that my spine is like one of those Chinese dragons. So if you've ever seen there's performances in Chinatown or in China during the New Year's time specifically, you have these people who dress up like dragons and then they move left and right. In all the pictures of Chinese dragons that you see, it's like a water kind of water. It represents water of sorts, like your spine is like a river moving. So the dragon is like your spine, and your spine is like a river moving around. Again, if this doesn't work out, you can always just open and close if you feel it too tight. Otherwise, find that grooviness, find that fluidity, get the elbows, shoulders into the game, and just move. And now let that go. Keep the legs exactly where they are. You know the drill. You can take your bolster behind you, or you can just take the hands behind and open the hip and close the hip. Make the circles, move the chest, adjust the fingers as they feel appropriate, and just move around. This stretch is quite interesting because most of the stretches we do, we get a lot of external rotation in the hip. So the pigeon, the 1990s, it opens the hip in a very external way. This stretch closes the hip. It's like a nice internal rotation. So we need both. We need external and we need internal rotations in our hip to keep our hips healthy, to keep our hips fluid and to keep the fluids moving through. So it's a nice balance. So notice if you feel a bit of cracks. I'm feeling that today. This is my first stretching session of the morning, so I hear some clicks and cracks in my back, which is a nice feeling to open into. Okay, so let that go, come back, and let's switch sides. So your left hip is going to, I'm changing sides, so this will make more sense when you see it, but this is the way you're going to get into it. So your left hip is facing the front of the mat. So when you stretch, when you turn over the left hip, right? And your right knee comes back. So just check if you're on the 90-90. You know the position, you've been there. It just takes a second to figure it out. This time you're going to do a bit of a twist. So you're going to take your right hand and you're going to press the palm as you look over your left shoulder. The left hand can adjust itself. Maybe you want to go more left, more right. Just see what works for you. So you're going to take the right hand up and you're going to push and look over your left shoulder. And then you're going to inhale and breathe. Exhale, push and look over the shoulder. Inhale and breathe. And feel like the right hand is waving around, keeping that gentle Chinese dragon movement. So inhaling, opening, exhaling, closing the right hip like we did the first side, and then inhaling, opening, exhale, closing, inhale, opening, exhale, pushing. Maybe you spot your back left foot for a moment and you let it go. Exhale, inhale, exhale. And then when you feel like you have a bit more space, maybe crawl your hands over to the left side in any capacity. You can still add a bit of movement, opening and closing the hip as you twist. And I'm trying to look at my back right foot. There's something in the foot. I'm glad I spotted that. Okay. But if you cannot get to that part, it's perfectly okay. You can be a bit forward up. You can be pretty straight with your neck turning. It's all okay. We're just looking for new space. And now activate your toes and press your knees down. So it's like this gentle stretch, a gentle activation in your joints and your muscles that give you more space to twist and turn into, just protecting everything. And here, if you feel like you've found a bit of a deeper stretch, you can even, lean onto the bolster. You can put your elbow on the bolster, use your hand to twist over and just move. Notice how that feels. Pressing, opening, twisting. Maybe you spot your back foot. Maybe the second or third time around you do this class, you might spot your back foot, but it's not required. It's just an idea we're working towards, right? It's just an idea. So you should feel a stretch in your right stomach and your obliques, and it's a full body stretch pretty much. And then gently come back up. You can keep the legs exactly as they are. I'm just gonna turn my feet to show you better, but you don't have to move. So as you have the bolster behind you, we're gonna go down. So you can keep the bolster behind, you can keep it for your elbows, or you don't need anything. That is perfectly fine as well. So you're gonna open up the right hip, you're gonna lean back, and you're still gonna make a bit of space. Maybe you lean back a bit more this time around. And don't feel like, I can't tell you what to feel, but let me rephrase that language. Um, the idea of props or bolsters and blankets is not that you're unable to do something effectively well in any sense. It's more to assist you to make things a bit more comfortable. And we don't always have to torture ourselves, right? That is something I have to remind myself every day. If you don't need the bolster, you don't need the bolster, right? If you want to go on your elbows, you can go on your elbows. Try that out. So it's something I have to remind myself every day that I don't have to push in everything I do. Sometimes it's okay to let my body take a shape that it feels comfortable. Just keep a bit of activation in the toes, in the right knee. Notice that feeling of closing the right hip. So give yourself that time and space to open. It's something that has taken me years to learn and figure out in my practice. That's something I encourage you to try out today. Okay, use your hands, come back up. We're gonna gently switch sides. So, right foot, right hip forwards. I'm gonna keep the bolster on my side just in case I need it. I don't think I will, but maybe. Every side is different, right? You don't know if your left and your right is gonna be exactly the same, so give it that option. So here you're gonna actually, you know what? Stay where you are. I'm gonna turn to show you a bit better. Okay. So your right hand is gonna go somewhere down. Your left hand is gonna come up. You're gonna inhale. Exhale, you're gonna push and turn. So inhale up. Exhale, the palm of the left hand pushes as you twist. Inhale as you come up. Exhale, twist and turn. If you find more space, you adjust the right hand as you need. Inhale. Exhale, push. Keep your toes a bit active. Keep your toes a bit active. Press the knees into the ground. Exhale. Go at your own pace. I'm just a reference point. Take the breaths longer or deeper. Keep that fluidity in the wrists. And now you can take your hands over to the right and try and look over your right shoulder. You can take the bolster, put your elbows down. Maybe you don't need the bolster. Maybe your right elbow comes down, your left hand places down, and take your time with it. So I'm still opening the left hip and closing the left hip, but I'm also making circles at the same time. My toes are active, so you can see my toes are pulling as I move and weave and breathe. Finding a breath in these deep stretches is, I'd say, a challenge sometimes because even I tend to forget to breathe. So when I give you a reminder to breathe, that's a reminder for me as much as it is for you. Maybe find a moment of stillness or keep moving. Your choice. Maybe you look at your back right foot. No, that's your left foot. Wow, I'm so twisted up. I forgot where left and right. So it's a good place to be, eh? So look over your right shoulder, look at your left foot. Maybe you feel a stretch in the neck. Maybe you feel a nice stretch in the side body. Almost done. Then keep the legs as they are. Lift yourself up. Bolster or no bolster, you know where we're gonna go. We're gonna go backwards. So maybe your elbows find a home. Maybe your hands find a home. Maybe you come onto the bolster. Just move and breathe. Move and breathe. Even if you can go all the way flat, I recommend not yet. Not yet. Hold on. I know it's a juicy place to be. I know your body's asking for it, but hold on one more time. Trust me on this. Give yourself that bit of movement. Give yourself that bit of movement initially. Make the circles, roll the spine, roll the shoulders, fill up your breath as much as possible. Don't forget to press into your toes and press into your knees. Feel that internal rotation in your left hip. Almost done. Find that little extra space, carve it out a bit more. Your head can fall back if that feels okay. Otherwise, just, keep it active. And then slowly make your way back up. Take your time with it. And this time we're going to go to the left side. So take your left hip forward. I think by now you know your left and right, you know how to set up the 1990. You're a professional now. You know the drill. All right, left hip goes forward, activate your toes a bit, and now you have a couple of options. I'm gonna give you an option to take the stretch the way you want to take it. I'm gonna give you some ideas on what I'm doing. However, I encourage you to take it your way. So just check your left hip is forward, your legs in 1990. You could go all the way down, go forward, and chill. You can make this yinny. I like to say yinny, that sounds cute. So take your bolster and you can lay down on the bolster. This is a lovely place to find a bit of chill. The lower back will let go. However, if you don't need the bolster, maybe you can go all the way down onto your hands, onto your chest. See if that feels interesting. Maybe you want to go a little bit to the left and then put the elbows down. Again, the bolster over here is wonderful. What I normally do in this stretch is I'll put the bolster for one hand and then the other hand I'll use to move a bit. Sometimes I'll pause, sometimes I'll stay. So that's what I do. So take your time. If you've done this class a few times, you know what to do. So just get into it. Or hopefully you've been into it and you've been stretching. However, if you're looking for space, try different options. Wherever you find yourself, take a few breaths. Deep, deep breaths. Try and fill up the side body. Try and fill up the upper back, the chest. Don't worry, I'm still here. The video hasn't stopped. I'm just giving you a few moments to find your own breath, your own mind, to be in your own thoughts, to be in your body. You can add movement for the last few breaths, or you can be still. Just keep the toes active. Still have the toes active. Press the knees down very gently. Maybe you find stillness, maybe you find movement, then you come back to stillness, and you come back to movement. It's a nice game to play. That always gives me, playing between the two always gives me a little more space to work into. Sometimes I surprise myself with how much space I find. But two more breaths, wherever you find yourself. Oh, and then let that go. Find your way back up, keep the legs as they are. I'm going to turn to show you a bit better, but again, you do not have to move. So keep the legs wherever they are. This time you can maybe take the bolster behind you. Try and lay completely back onto the bolster if your body allows. Otherwise, be on your elbows. That's a wonderful place to find yourself as well. Keep your toes a bit active, press the right knee into the ground, try and feel that closing angle. Maybe you don't need the bolster. Maybe you can go all the way down. Maybe you can go all the way down. But if you cannot, stay with the bolster, obviously. And if you go all the way down and your right knee lifts up, try and activate the right knee so you come back down. So even if you're on the bolster in any capacity, on your elbows, and you feel the right knee lifting, try and tone it back in so you feel that movement. So it doesn't have to be intense, it's just a sensation. So find a few breaths, we're not here too long. Feel the internal rotation of the right hip. Feel the opening in the left, a nice little stretch in the stomach, keeping your toes active. Take deep breaths. Take your hand on your stomach maybe and feel the expansion as you breathe. And then slowly, I like to turn over to my left side and then push my way back up. Take your time with it. Oh. And then last time, switch sides. Notice if the body gets more comfortable every time you get into it. So, like, this is the third time you're taking the stretch. What was the difference in the first time? What was the difference in the second time? And where do you find yourself third time around? It's interesting observations. My body starts to trust itself no matter how long I've been practicing, no matter what I've been doing. Uh, take, well, I got confused over there. So take your right hip to the front of the mat, your legs in the 90-90, activate your toes, and start to move into it. So now you know what to do. You've had the options. Maybe you come all the way down in front of you. Maybe the bolster is in front of you. I'm going to turn, you don't have to, just to show you my stretch from a different angle. So I like to twist over my right shoulder like I did the first time. I'm going to take the bolster down for my right elbow. You can try that, or you could do something that's calling out to you. Keep your toes active, press your knee into the ground, and adjust as you need. Maybe add a bit of movement. Maybe be still for a moment. One side is always a bit different compared to the other. Don't try to go to your deepest from the left or the right and expect it to be the same. Give the body the time to adjust and move and breathe. As I was saying earlier, when I come into the stretches multiple times, 2 times, 3 times, same stretch, my body starts to trust the space. It starts to trust the capacity. My nervous system starts to feel at ease. My nervous system starts to trust these new and interesting spaces that I find myself in without cramping, without panicking. Maybe you find something interesting. Keep your toes active. Almost done on this side. Notice if you find yourself in some new space for the last couple of breaths. Maybe you spot your back left foot. And then let that go. Keep the legs as they are, gently come up. And we're going to move back for the last time, so just adjust your feet as you feel comfortable. Take your bolster or go flat onto the ground. Maybe start off with the bolster. I'm just adjusting myself to show you as usual, but you don't have to move too much. You can just bring things to you and find that stretch. Maybe one side feels better with the bolster, one side feels better without the bolster. I notice my left hip is a bit tighter in my internal rotation than my right hip. So it feels nicer to be on the bolster on my left side. It is a bit easier to go down on the flow on my right side, but my left side is asking me to be on the bolster. So I'm not pushing, I'm not trying to do something that feels uncomfortable. I'm listening to my body right now. So, what is your body saying? Do you need to give yourself a bit of ease to let go, or are you pushing a bit too hard to find space? Or can you find the space without even trying, without pushing? Where's your breath? Can you take your hands on your tummy for the last few breaths and on your chest, on your stomach, wherever you feel an expansion, keeping activation in the toes and the knees, protecting your lower back, protecting your knees. Last few breaths. Come back home, come back to you. And then slowly roll over, maybe to your right side, pressing into your left foot. Sit up for a moment. Move the bolster as you may need. Again, I'm just turning around to adjust myself towards you, but you could just be, take your legs out, extend them for a moment. They've been in a twisting pose for quite a long time, so extend them out. One symmetrical pose to close. So, two options today. One is you could take the legs a bit wider into a soft straddle, pull the toes up, and lean forward. It doesn't have to be too much. You could always even sit on the bolster, which is a lovely place to fall into, but keep the toes active and just go in. The legs don't have to be too wide. They can even be, in a soft V as you fall in. You can move around and just notice where you end up. Or you could take a soft plow pose with the legs slightly open. Soft plow pose. Just to close. So as the legs are open, you can bend the knees, catch the toes. Notice how that feels at this moment. Maybe it's one of your deepest plows. Maybe you still have a bit of tension in the lower back. It doesn't matter, just breathe into it. Just breathe into it wherever you find yourself, sitting upright or in a plow pose. You can test both positions out and just stay. Stay in whatever space is calling out to you. Keep the toes a bit active, just protecting your lower back, giving you a little more space to work into. If you're still in a plow, come out of it. If you're in a forward fold, start to make your way back up. Ah. Notice how you feel move around. I've been saying that a lot. Notice how you feel because we forget to touch base. We are so focused on the positions, we are so focused on getting somewhere that we forget to check in and notice where we are. So you can stay in your closing posture for as long as you like. If you want to be in your forward fold, maybe it's one of the deepest forward folds you've been in, or even though we didn't work much into it, maybe you get more space. Maybe the plow pose feels nice, or maybe you just want Savasana to close. Highly recommend it. A good 5-10 minutes in it is a wonderful place to be, just to reset the spine because we did so many twists and to find a symmetrical pose to find a bit of ease. So, with that being said, I hope this class helps you find something interesting. If you had a bit of pain, I hope it's a little better. I hope you find a little more space to weave and wave into. And if you're just looking for a bit of flexibility, I hope that gave you an interesting idea on how to move and stretch that's slightly different. So you can always come back to this class anytime you need a bit of space and you need to find your breath and just to recenter. My name is Varun. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Have a wonderful day. Peace.